Do me a favor. I want you to think of the absolute best photographer you know. This can be somebody local, or this can be somebody who you follow on social media. I want you to picture them in your head, and I have a secret to tell you about them. In the beginning, they had no idea what they were doing. If we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Kayla Brent. I'm a motherhood photographer and founder of Mom Photography School, where I teach moms to capture everyday moments of their family beautifully, and I've been photographing professionally for over a decade. And let me tell you, if I could go back in time in my photography journey, there's definitely some things that I would do differently, and that is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. In the comments below, let me know where you're at on your photography journey. Are you a mom photographer who's wanting to capture gorgeous photos of your kids? Are you an aspiring professional? Are you already a professional photographer? Let me know in the comments. And while you're there, make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. First tip that I want to give that I was totally guilty of in the beginning is do not go on a shopping spree right from the start. I know this is hard because we all want a brand new shiny camera. However, it's gonna lose its flair the moment that you get it out of the box and you realize you have no idea how to use it. So do not go on a shopping spree in the beginning. What you can do instead is ask Facebook, ask a friend, ask your mother, whoever has a DSLR, most likely it's collecting dust because they don't know how to use it. So try to find a good, solid used camera to purchase or borrow. Start there before going all in and buying a camera worth thousands and thousands of dollars. Because if you start by learning how to use your camera or learning how to use any camera in general, by doing that, then you'll know more about what it is that you really do want to purchase. Instead of all the numbers being scary and foreign, if you know how to use your camera, you're going to know what those numbers mean and you can make a smarter purchase. Next tip, learn manual mode. This is not one of the things in photography that's flashy or fun. It's not like editing or off-camera flash. It doesn't seem cool, but listen, as soon as you have a camera, you need to learn how to use it in manual mode. If you want a picture that has that gorgeous blurry background, you've got to understand manual mode. If you want a photo that's not too dark or too bright, again, manual mode. And finally, if you want an image that isn't blurry, you have to understand manual mode. I see people hesitate, me being included in that on my journey, hesitate learning manual mode. They jump into getting Photoshop actions and Lightroom presets. They want to edit to compensate for them not knowing how to shoot their camera in manual mode. And that's a huge, huge mistake. You have so much control over your image if you know how to use manual mode. No more having blurry photos and not knowing why. So I highly, highly recommend getting a camera, and as soon as you have one, the first thing that you dive into is learning how to shoot it in manual mode. If you need help with that, I have a course called Mastering Manual Mode. I will link that below. Make sure that you check that out. The next tip that nobody talks about is to photograph things that aren't necessarily yours. Here's the thing, it is perfectly okay to practice on your family and your kids, your dog, whatnot. That's totally fine, and please do that. But also practice on people and things with their permission that aren't yours, that you aren't emotionally attached to. Something happens whenever, especially when we're photographing our kids, we're thinking about, oh, they have a stain on their shirt. that smile they just gave me is not their true, genuine smile. There's all of these things going on in the back of our head whenever we are photographing our own things that we love. Something happens whenever we take that element away and we are photographing somebody else's kids. We are not worried about necessarily their behavior or if they're being perfect or the stain on their shirt. We are just practicing photography itself. So with the parents' permission, grab somebody else's kid, take some pictures, and you might be surprised at what you get when you take the pressure off. It is really, really good practice. And if you don't have other kids to photograph or other family members, what you can do is find a bird. Birds are great subjects because they move really quickly, and your goal is to capture it where even though it's moving quickly, you have a still image. And of course, the image isn't too bright or too dark, which goes back, all of that goes back to manual mode. But find something and make sure that you are practicing on a subject that you are not emotionally attached to. You probably thought that I was going to give you a tech tip on like which camera to buy or which ones to avoid. I am not. Any camera that you can get your hands on, especially if it's a DSLR or mirrorless, pretty much you can take the lens on and off. One of those cameras that shoot in manual mode, just find one, borrow one. I'm not going to tell you which one is the best or which one isn't. Just get your hands on one. But the tech tip that I will give you is to get a really good SD card. I have been using this SD card for years and I absolutely love it. It has a really fast recording speed. And the reason that the recording speed is important, maybe you've been in a situation, you're taking pictures, and especially if you're a beginner, you're probably taking a lot of pictures at one time, overshooting, some people call it, and all of a sudden, the shutter release, the button, isn't working. And you think, oh my goodness, I'm so frustrated. I need to upgrade my camera. There's something wrong. And really, it has nothing to do with your camera at all. It has to do with the SD card. You're taking so many pictures so quickly and it's recording them, but it can't keep up. So the higher quality SD cards, the faster the recording speed. And like I said, the one that I use and have been using for years, I love it. I have never had an issue. Just make sure that it fits your camera body. Last but certainly not least is to leave your camera out somewhere that you see it every day. If you are going to the park or somewhere with your kids, grab it, take it with you, and practice. If you practice manual mode every single day, over time, you will see results. But you're not going to practice if your camera is sitting in the closet collecting dust. So make sure that you have it set out where you can see it every single day. So there you have it. There are some of my best photography tips for beginners, and make sure that you check out all the links below and watch my next video for all the mom photography tips and mom hacks. I will see you there, friend.